The interview with BJNN is brought to you by Biz Events, connecting the Central New York business community through events.
I'm Marny Nesher, president of the Business Journal News Network, and I'd like to welcome Sherry DePerno, president and CEO of Advanced Tool, Inc., a global cutting tool manufacturer located right here in Central New York in Marcy. Sherry, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We want to talk a little bit about you. I'd like to know where you grew up. I know you grew up in the Mohawk Valley region, but if you could share with us a little bit more about that.
I did. So I grew up actually in Marcy, New York. I went to Whitesboro High School, went to college locally. I have two sisters, still very close with my family. Had a great life growing up.
And you are in a family business.
I am.
Advanced Tool is a family business.
I am.
Tell us how you got started in that.
So I worked for my parents. It was actually my first job. However, I was a horrible employee, and they fired me. So they told me to grow up, go get a real job, go to college, and I ended up coming back into the business years later. My dad was looking for somebody. We had a retail store at the time, and he was looking for somebody to take that over. I came back in and slowly just worked my way up. My dad was a big believer in not giving me anything, making me work for everything, and I did. And before I knew it, I had my own thoughts and ideas for the business. I was seeing things from a different viewpoint, and at one point I think I started, telling my parents what they should and shouldn't do, and I think my dad just at one point, he says, you have way bigger goals and dreams for this business than I have energy for. And he said, I think I should retire.
So at what point was that? When did you become president and take over the business?
I purchased the business in 2007.
Okay.
So, so it's been 12 years now.
It's a long time.
It is. It is.
And you are a certified women-owned business.
Yes.
Is it through New York State?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how was that process?
It was a lengthy process. It was, it's actually gotten harder now. Even the recertifications they're pretty tough. But it was worth it for me. I mean, our product is at the far end of the supply chain, so it doesn't mean as much for me to be a woman-owned as it does for, say, like a tier 1 manufacturer. We supply to them. It does help. At the end of the day, they do count what they do with me towards their numbers, but.
So in your mind, it was still worth going through the process and being certified.
Yeah, because I think even now I don't necessarily earn business because I'm woman-owned. I think there's this misconception that if you're woman-owned, it's going to be easy now. You're going to get all this business. It's not that at all. I have to work and try to grab the business just like anybody else. But it seems like afterwards, once I get in the door, they're like, "Oh, you're woman-owned. Oh, great! I need all your paperwork," and we'll count that towards our numbers.
So talk to me about Advanced Tool. What are the products that you're producing specifically?
So we are a cutting tool manufacturer, and we focus solely on custom end mills, micro end mills, and forum end mills, which is a cutting tool used in various industrial milling applications for aerospace, automotive, medical, defense, all sorts of industries.
Wow. And you are global, so where are you servicing, where are you reaching and sending your products to?
We are in 5 countries. So we're in Mexico, Canada, Ireland, Germany, Australia. I think that's it in the U.S.
That's exciting. And it is the majority of the products that you're sending out. I mean, the majority, sorry, let me rephrase that. Are you 50% overseas?
No, we're probably only 10% overseas.
So most of your products are consumed locally?
Yes, still nationally. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And can you talk, what would be the most immediate need in the manufacturing industry that would affect you right now?
Skilled help. Skilled help.
It's a common theme we're hearing.
So one of the things that we did as a business, really because we had no other choice, is we got small. We got smaller because we couldn't find the skilled help. We were training people, and you put your heart and soul into these people, and then they walk out the door. And my husband is actually our senior engineer and did most of the training. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. These people walk out the door with a piece of me when they leave. So we made a decision to get smaller, and it's actually been great. I mean, we became more profitable as a smaller company and getting very selective with the people we do business with. However, there was just this, gnawing in me that something, we have to do something. And it's been around the time New York State has been very, they've been pushing apprenticeships and really trying to get businesses to look at those. And they were pursuing me for a while, this is something you should do. And I finally started looking into it. So what we are doing right now is we are writing a full curriculum for our trade. And how that is happening is I'm being trained, and then I'm doing the curriculum, which is crazy because I don't have time for this.
Well, I was going to say that's a lot of work.
It is, but I guess, I don't know. We started small and we tried it in a few different areas, like a small area. My husband would train me, and then I would figure it out, put it into a curriculum, put it into video, and some sort of training module. And then I'd test it on somebody, and it kind of worked. So I said, there's something here. So we've been doing it for over a year now, and the curriculum is building, and it's our goal. My goal is to be able to bring people in and through this extremely difficult trade and do it very quickly and efficiently.
Who are you working with to do this?
Who
approached you?
So really, it's a combination. Mohawk Valley Community College is partnering with SUNY, who's partnering with AIM, which is the Advanced Institute of Manufacturing. So that was kind of the group that came together and talked to me into going forward. And they have been so supportive. So I've been given a professor that actually comes in, and we kind of go through it. So we go through what it is we're trying to teach, and he's helping us to figure out how to put it into, what would be quote unquote real curriculum and testing. And I think that was one of the pieces that we were missing internally for all those years. We didn't have the testing in place, and that's what we discovered is that in a standard trade, you're teaching somebody and you're saying, do you get this? Do you understand? And they go, yeah, I got it, and so you move on. Well, now we have the testing. Do you really have it? And that's where you're finding that, people don't necessarily understand it, so you have to dive deeper. So it's been great. It's been enlightening. It's a lot of work. My husband's ready to murder me, most of the time because I don't get it. Right. I mean, there's stuff that I just don't get, and I'll be like, I don't get it. Explain it again, And he really, so it's at the ground level. Right. I'm like, this is where we got to go with this. And
is there a projection as to how many years it's going to take until it's ready and the curriculum's ready? And
I don't know. We've made great progress in 1 year. I don't know, at least a couple years, 2-3 years maybe. I don't know, but everything we have is great stuff so far. So.
That's exciting.
It is.
A lot of work. And it's good to be in the testing mode.
Yeah. For sure.
Great experience.
Yeah.
So let's move over to leadership a little bit.
Yes.
You and myself, we were both involved with the SBA's Emerging Leaders Program.
Absolutely.
I believe it was back in 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those unfamiliar with it, it's really a program for business owners and executives of small businesses to help them get to the next level. and it's really called a mini MBA. And that's really what it was. And I found it tremendously helpful.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you about your experience with this program, what you thought of it. And
fantastic. Best thing I ever did.
Why did you get involved with it?
You know, I heard about it. I read about it. I think they dubbed it, Streetwise MBA or something at that time. And, I love anything that kind of cuts to the chase and, dives in. And just when I read about the program, that's what it felt like. It felt like there wasn't going to be a lot of fluff. It was going to be just the nuts and bolts, and you dive in and you dive in deep. A lot of hard work. Yeah. And I'm not afraid of hard work. And holy moly, it was hard work. And I learned so much. But at the end of the day, it absolutely changed my business. I was always so focused on top line growth. And just in going through that, I realized that there was other ways to look at it. It wasn't just about that top line growth. It was about the bottom line growth. And, and realizing that, sometimes the way to go is not what you thought it was. And running the numbers and just looking at it from a different perspective, it made me change my thought. And we're a better company for it.
Would you recommend it to others?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have. I've sent a couple people that way, and same thing. Their experience has been the same.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about volunteering a little bit. Most people, I think CNY is a great community, the business community, in terms of getting involved in volunteering their time. And you have taken a step further. You don't just volunteer your time. You actually you are the executive director of ALS of Utica.
Correct.
Why?
So my mother-in-law died of ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, back in '99. And honestly, I had heard of ALS at that point in time, and I just had no idea how awful it was. And it is just a cruel and heartbreaking disease. And I wanted to do more. It started off as I wanted to just do a fundraiser, just raise some money, just do something on a small level. And I went to the national chapter, and what I found is, you really, if you're underneath, the big umbrella, you're really restricted on what you can and can't do. And what I felt was needed in our area was a loan closet. And I said, I want to raise the money. I want to start a loan closet here. And it's kind of like, well, you can't really do that. You can raise the money and it'll come to us and we'll, disperse it through our programs. And I was like, I don't like that. So you
wanted to have a direct impact.
I did. I wanted it to affect my area, my local area, because that's where the need was. And so, of course, I had, being in business, I had my own accountants and attorneys, and they're like, start your own, do what you want, raise the money, do what you want with it. And it was literally only supposed to be, okay, I'm going to have a couple fundraisers and start a loan closet. And, here we are years later, it sort of took on a mind of its own. And, we've been fortunate. We've raised over $1 million. And, that goes directly to local families. We raise it and give it right to the local families because we run it out of my business. So the charity doesn't have any expenses. I don't take a salary. Nobody's paid. We're all 100% volunteers. In fact, 5% of any of my proceeds for my manufacturing business go back into that business because it just, I believe in giving back. I believe in, what kind of goes around comes around. You can't be all greedy and hold it to yourself. You got to do good with, the blessings you have. And I have great volunteers and, we've been able to do good for a lot of families. What we're able to do for families, nobody has access to the kind of money and resources and, what we do for them. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you balance this nonprofit as the executive director and then running your own business?
I don't sleep at night.
Okay. All right.
No, I mean,
it's all consuming running your own business.
It is, but I don't know, it just works. One time it didn't. I got to a place where I think I was, I don't know, maybe 8 years into the charity, and I was doing all the fundraising, and I got burnt out. I literally felt that I was getting sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me. You know, I went to the doctor. The doctor's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, but there is. I don't feel good. And I think it was burnout. And so I stopped doing fundraising. I went to my board of directors, and I said, listen, I'll run the charity, I'll deal with the patients, but somebody else has to bring the money in. So it's knowing when you're overloaded. Yes, you just have to find the balance.
And then is there something that you can share with us about what you see on the horizon? I always like to ask the executives or the business owners, you know, you live here, you work here in Central New York, or in your case, in Mohawk Valley specifically. Yeah. Do you have any words of advice for us, for the community? Are we headed in the right direction?
I think we are. I think we're heading in the right direction. You know, we've had some bumps and bruises along the way, but I absolutely think we're heading in the right direction, and I think there's good things to come.
Great. And that's where we need to end it. We want to thank Sherry for joining us today. To stay up to date on our upcoming videos, please check us out at CNYBJ.com.